the finance meeting to order. Is there any public comment? Hearing none. Next on the agenda is the IGT agreement. Mr. Ritter.
Yes, sir. We're here today, eventually is to seek signature on the letter of intent, which is due on the 13th of this month. Just basic review, IGT, which I think you're all aware is the intergovernmental transfer process for the non-sharing, non-federal share of the medical assistance payments to county facilities. As I understand from the Kennedy Law Firm that was on the conference call with PACA, the only difference this year with this agreement from in past years is there's now a risk-sharing component that the state has agreed to cover 50% if there is any type of risk within the program. I don't think, from what I've read and heard on the call, we should not have an issue. 501c3 facilities would have an issue potentially, and any government facilities that are using your non-traditional payment methods would have some risk. But since we are tax-based and our funds are pretty much stable, we should not have any risk at all. As you can see from the slide, the total safety net would be $5,685,000 and change. The county transfer $4,207,000 and change. Our net gain, or the net gain, would be $1,477,000 and change, less the CPE recognized funding of $618,000 and change. Claremont would end up with a gain when you whirl it all around in the machine and the checks go back and forth of $858,789. The letter of intent came to us, which I believe you should have in your packets, came to us in a separate email, and the language on this letter of intent was suggested. I believe Mr. Brenneman has reviewed it. And it should be ready for Commissioner's signature, I believe. So this was not drafted by us or whatever. It was from an email sent out by PACA. So that's what we're seeking today. That's it in a nutshell, is we need to get the letter of intent signed and out by the 13th.
So Bob, when you say you believe that Keith has reviewed it, do we know that for certain, or do we need to double check?
I would, if it were me, I would double check, because I cannot honestly answer your question. I have not spoken to Mr. Brenneman and haven't seen him since the holiday. So I would double check just to make sure that he's reviewed it and it's good to go.
And I'm sorry, what is this, really quick, the CP fund is currently being recognized. Can you just, somebody explain what that is?
Yeah, that's, those funds are being booked on a monthly basis, so they've already hit the amount. So the unrecorded amount is the difference between the $14,007 and $619.
Okay.
So $859,000 is what's not been recorded on the account.
So that is the net gain, the after everything's said and done, 858.
Correct. And that is a little less than last year. I think last year it was 916 or 964, so it is a little less than last year.
And is all of this significantly more at the end of the day than we were getting under the old performance, paper performance stuff? Anybody know? It is?
It is, the P for P, you have to be eligible for each quarter, and you didn't know how much you were doing.
Yeah, if you were lucky, you got three.
Yeah, and so we were getting the 858, I think, what was the maximum, about 450?
Yeah, I mean, we normally got 3 or 4. We were set up to do 4, but normally it was 3, and they were in the 80 to 90 to 120,000 range, which is what Dana said, the 450 or the 4 or whatever.
Was the maximum we were receiving.
So this is substantial.
Yes.
And it will likely continue to shrink on a yearly basis, you think, or stay the same?
If the UPL is worked on, we would be gaining. It all depends on our percentage of the UPL.
And you mentioned the shared risk. Last year, there was no shared risk. The risk was all on us.
That's correct. That's my understanding. The Kennedy Law Firm, I believe it was Mr. Kennedy on the call himself, and his comment was, this is the only difference this year than last. And he said the state would share the risk by 50%.
50% of what?
If there was any difference, if there was any loss, if there was the state would share 50%, so that the county wouldn't run the whole risk of the loss or the difference.
So is that 50% of our net gain? Is that what we're talking about?
I think it could be 50% of any number. It's going to depend on CMS.
Well, we're at risk of 4 million, 4.2 million, if that's what we're sending to the state. Right?
No, the 4.2 million will come back to us, we're at risk for the 1.5 million.
The net gain part.
And it's a portion of that 1.5 million, and it's in the number somewhere, I apologize. It's like, yeah,
887,000.
it's 887,000.
Okay, I mean, this remains a bizarre funding mechanism, to say the least.
Yes.
Yes.
But if it works to our advantage and the risk is minimal, we can foolish.
So this is the actual agreement that we're going to be signing at some point?
It is the draft agreement, and yes, unless they tweak it a little bit, it is what they will be signing. And we did forward this to Keith City Curriculum in advance.
This actually contains the dollar amounts mentioned.
Correct.
For us.
Correct.
Yeah, and I did see where it says that we relied upon the advice of our advisors and legal counsel. So we want to make sure that Keith is signed off on this.
Keith has seen this, and he'll get it again when it's the formal one.
But what we can do is, maybe Sandy, you get in touch with Keith, like, some email, good issue saying it's fine, it's fine, we reviewed it, and it's fine to proceed with, all we have to do at this point is provide a letter of intent. Is non-binding.
And I just had a technical suggestion on the letter itself. It says, I have the appropriate authority, and I think it should be, we have the appropriate authority, since it's being signed by the Board of Commissioners.
Run that by Keith, whether the I should be changed to we, it's up to the board, the 3 commissioners.
Yeah, I have no problems with it.
It's money.
We need a motion. Contingent.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. well,
Tim, if you could,
Yeah, sure.
contingent on Keith's.
Right, and subject to the review and approval of our solicitor, make a motion to authorize authorize this letter to be sent to the Department of Public Health and Welfare, indicating our intent to participate in the intergovernmental transfer program.
Okay, I'll second the motion. Any questions or comments on the motion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.